Hi and welcome back to the garden. Today on this really beautiful sunny October day, the sun's got some warmth in it and I'm really pleased to be outside in the garden, and today I'm going to be doing a little bit of bulb planting. Now this video will be the first video on our bulb planting exploits, and what I'm going to be planting today is some beautiful hyacinths and some absolutely stunning daffodils. I'm really excited to be out in the garden today because it's just so lovely. The sun feels really warm. I've got my hoodie on, but it's so warm. And it's October. How lucky are we? Now, I'm going to be using this beautiful terracotta pot, and it's obviously seen many a day with bulbs and other things in, but today we're going to be planting what I think is my favourite hyacinth, which is Hyacinth Woodstock. Now these bulbs will develop into the most beautiful purple flowers. They'll flower from late March into April, and they're about 30 centimetres tall once they get going. And what I'm going to do is put these in the centre of this container, because the idea is to use the hyacinth as a more of a sort of like a central focal point, so they'll be right in the centre, and then the daffodils all around the edges. And for the daffodils we're going to be using Tete-a-Tete. And these are a really, really nice variety that we've used for many years. We've used these in Sheffield, and you know, it's not nice to be using these again. Now these we have had for a while. They've already been in the ground. We've been storing them, so the Tete-a-Tete, and we've dug them up ready, especially for this container. So I'm going to start by putting them in the centre, and as I say, these will form the focal point. I'm going to do them in like a little triangle, so I'm going to do them like that, allowing space for the narcissus around the edges of the pot. So then what I'd like to do is pop in the Tete-a-Tete. So Tete-a-Tete's going in there. And I think we'll get all of these in there, because these will just be so nice and so welcoming during the spring. They'll be such a welcome sight in the garden, and will certainly inspire us to want to come outside and explore what's happening. So I've got those in there. So that's all the bulbs planted. I just need to give them a covering of compost shortly. Now the Tete-a-Tete grow to about 20 centimetres, and they have the most gorgeous yellow flowers on. They're so beautiful, and they flower March to April, and so they really will complement the hyacinths in the centre, and they'll just look great together. And it's going to be lovely. I'm really excited to see what these do look like. So I'm going to give them a covering, a big covering of compost, because we want them well and truly covered. They're at the right depth for these pots, but what we need to do is make sure that they're well and truly covered, because the last thing we want is for anyone to be digging them up, which does sometimes happen in the garden with bulbs. It does happen. But it's going to be so exciting when we see them coming through the compost, and in spring when they all begin to flower, and then we've got that scent from the hyacinths and the beautiful narcissus as well. It's just going to be amazing. It really is. Like I say, Tete-a-Tete, a really good variety. We do recommend it. We grew it in Sheffield for a long time. We had it for quite a few years. Actually, in the garden itself, it was in the borders. So, and it was lovely, and we really do recommend it. It's a really nice plant. I like the idea of the hyacinth being called Woodstock. I always think of it, you know, the period of the hippies and Woodstock and all that. So yeah, I do like all that. So it's just something I thought of when I saw the name. I thought, yeah, and it's a really good one. It has been a firm favourite for a while. But when I first saw the name, it was the first thing that came into my mind. I don't know why, but there you go. So yeah, that's those covered. So they're looking good. And you know, to think now it's just a container, and it's just got, you know, it's a bit weathered and there's nothing going on. It's got that compost in there, but you do know that in spring, you know, March, April, you're going to be rewarded by a massive scent and a massive flowers all the way around the edges of the pot, and flowers in the centre from the hyacinths. But the scent will be stunning, and obviously it's something that we're going to want to put somewhere where we're going to be able to smell it all the time as we come past it. So really I'm looking forward to that. They're going to be absolutely amazing, and it's so nice, and it's something that we all can do. You know, we all can find a container from somewhere in the garden, or borrow one, or buy one from somewhere, and it's, you know, no matter what size garden you've got, if you've got a garden or you've got a balcony, or it doesn't matter, you know, you really can get a container, get some compost, plant some bulbs, choose some that you like, and plant them, follow the instructions, plant them, and enjoy the rewards. Bulbs are fantastic. So with this beautiful pot, what we would do now is just put it somewhere at the side of the garden, probably somewhere shady, just leave it. Once the bulbs do begin to come through the soil, we will move them, and they should be moved into a sunny position in the garden. That will allow them to thrive, and obviously I will water these in now, but make sure they're well watered as they begin to develop as well. That's my segment done. Now I'm going to pass you over to Paul, who's going to be planting some more beautiful narcissus, a different type, but still just as beautiful.
So I'm going to be planting a different type of daffodil, and these ones are Narcissus jonquilla Martinette, and these are quite a special variety. They have a lovely lemon yellow petal around the outside and a lovely orange centre, so you've got that multiple colours on the same plant, and these have 4 or 5 fragrant flowers per stem, so you're really getting a lot of scent on every single bulb. So I'm really looking forward. We've never tried these before, but they did stand out in the shop when we were looking for them, so we're going to try these. So I'm using these tall terracotta containers, and I'm just going to put just a layer of stones in the very bottom, just to make sure that that drainage hole doesn't get plugged up by compost. I've got some fresh compost. Now it doesn't matter with regards to compost for bulbs, because if you're using your own spent compost, maybe from your summer containers, that's perfectly fine as well. These bulbs should have all the nutrients they need to at least get them started, so you can use spent compost in your containers for bulbs, just so long as you've not had the same bulbs growing in them before. So I'm just putting a layer of compost in the bottom there. So I'm just trying to try and squeeze as many as I can in this container. And the way that they're planted is with this tip facing up and these roots facing down. And if you're ever unsure with bulbs which way round they go, plant them on the side and they will find their own way through. So I'm just going to see if I can cram as many as I can in this container. So I managed to fit 8 in there, and I'm just going to cover them up now with some more compost. And it really is as simple as that. And these will flower between March and April and give a wonderful display, and more importantly, some beautiful scent in the beginning of the year when you really need it. So I'm now going to do the other two pots exactly the same. So some stones in the bottom, and then part filled with compost. And then get your bulbs and fit them inside. It's hard to believe in this weather, in this sunshine, that it's actually approaching mid-October. It's absolutely really lovely. So I managed to get 8 in these containers, which is lovely. A bit more compost for that. So when you're out in the garden centres or the supermarkets or wherever you buy your bulbs from, and you are selecting from the wonderful varieties that you've got, always make sure you do have a look at the bulbs you're buying, and you want to make sure that they are free from any obvious diseases, and when you put them between your fingers that they're nice and solid. Any bulbs that are squishy or feel hollow to the touch, avoid that packet. You don't want to be getting that because it's not going to give you a healthy plant. So the last thing to do is cover them up. And these pots do not look much now, but come spring there will be an amazing show of colour with the added bonus of all that lovely scent as well. I'm just pressing them down. Daffodils like to be planted quite early in autumn because they do like to start growth quite soon. So they will start to produce roots and they will start to try and grow, but they will slow down as winter approaches and pick back up that speed in the spring when we have the lovely flowers and lovely growth. So that's it. All I need to do now is I'm just going to label one with a label so I know which one's which. I'm going to put these 3 together just in a little offside part of the garden, maybe the shady side, just until that growth appears, and then they'll be moved into a sunny position. Daffodils can tolerate some shade, so if you've not got a really sunny garden, that's fine, so long as they have got a good proportion of sunlight throughout the day. Underneath deciduous trees are ideal for daffodils if you're planting these in borders as well. So thanks for watching this video. Please give us a thumbs up if you've enjoyed it. Please subscribe if you've not already done so. And if you have any comments regarding bulb planting in autumn, it would really be great to read those and reply. That's it for me today. So have a great time in your garden. Hopefully you'll be able to get out and do some spring bulb planting if you can. And I'll see you on the next one. You take care.